Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Good to see everybody. Welcome to another farm meeting. It's really great to be here with you guys for our May farm meeting. As I think most of you guys who happen to be here know, I do this farm meeting every first Wednesday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's great to see everybody. So many people coming back. I see my moderators, Quebec Homestead, Little Mountain Life. I see Carrie from Built on the Rock Homestead, who I actually want to tell a story to you guys about Carrie because it's a really great one. Jennifer Simpson, Little Farm Big Cameras, Savannah Drake, Declimate Brown. Wow. Hey, it's Hope from Misfit Farm. Happy belated birthday, Hope. Ken Shaw, what's going on, buddy? Queeby, Wallace Williams, Jake Bramble. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you guys. It's so cool to see you all and be here with you all. I am super excited. This is going to be a fun one tonight because what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about what's going on around the farm, answer your questions, tell you about some things that are coming up here on the farm, and I got a special treat. So before this webcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it, is over, I plan on taking you guys on a little adventure. I'll probably have to switch from the camera on my computer to the camera on my phone, and we're going to go up to the hatching room. So right now I have about 100 gosling eggs in the incubator, and my first batch of eggs is going to start to hatch. It's actually just as I came in here, I was just doing my chores and locking up the ducks for the night. I saw that several of the eggs had started to pip. And so we're going to go up there and check things out in a little bit. And I might even let this live stream go a little longer than usual, just so you guys can take a look at the action and see what's going on. I am really excited to be here though tonight. And so a couple of things, just so you know. Number one, if you have questions, please just put them in all caps. As you guys know, these chats go so fast and it's sometimes hard to keep up. And so by putting your questions in caps, it makes it easier to see. Hey, what's going on? Felix Sandler from Israel. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, from Michigan, ML Homestead Farm, the Recucks. So purple jellyfish actually brought up the first topic I wanted to try to get into here today. So thank you for bringing that up, purple jellyfish. So I have mentioned before in past videos that we wanted to add new barn cats. Hey, Chills Cryptics. Thank you, buddy. We have Pablo Barn Cat, who is a full-time barn cat around the farm, but he's, about 7 years old. And so he needs some help. We have Lil Barn Cat, who is always my sidekick here on the live stream. She's now a full-time indoor cat after she got hit by a car last year. And so basically, she's no longer in commission. We had Hobo Barn Cat, who would semi-frequently stop in here on the farm over the course of the winter, but I haven't seen him in quite some time. And so I've mentioned that I want to get more barn cats. Well, a friend of ours who lives about 2 towns over from us here in Vermont, she actually had a mother cat give birth to kittens in her barn. It was a stray cat that just sort of showed up. And it's a very friendly cat, and she likes her a lot, but she can't keep her. And so the babies are, I think, only 2 or 3 weeks old right now, so it's too soon. But as soon as the babies get old enough to be separated from the mom, this woman's going to be actually finding homes for most of the kittens. But we're going to keep the mother cat and one of the kittens, and I'm going to be raising them up as barn cats here on the farm. Oh, thank you, Rainbow. I'll get to your question in just a minute. And so I would say probably in the late June-ish, early July time period, we'll be adding 2 new barn cats, 2 stray barn cats who needed a good home here to Goldshop Farm. So I'm really excited. They will be out there working with Pablo. They're going to be 2 females, and so they should get along with Pablo pretty well. So Rainbow, I want to answer your question, and then Alex, I'll go to your question too. So Rainbow's question is, what's your favorite farm animal? And I would actually say my favorite farm animal is the geese. Despite the fact that they can be quite terrors, they are, really a lot of fun to work with. And so I would say that the geese are my favorites. Alex asked the question, is Great Pyrenees good for livestock guardian dog? I think Great Pyrenees are a very good livestock guardian dog. I've enjoyed everybody who I know who has a Great Pyrenees. We have Maremmas. From what I've seen, Maremmas are a little bit more chill than Great Pyrenees. But I think Great Pyrenees, if you have one, I think would be a good option. And thank you, Sarah Haley. Hey, Morgan, I'd like to get Toby a toy, but I wanted to make sure that's okay since he's a working dog. Wanted to just get your blessing first. Yeah, it's fine. If you guys ever want to send us toys for Toby or any of the animals, you can. I actually should put together like a wish list because people actually ask us this a lot. Toys that Toby likes are like the best thing are like rope toys. So if you have like one of those like rope shoes, that sort of thing, or the Dentabones he really loves and are really good for him. And so those would be the two toys that I think are good. No toys that squeak, though. That's actually one thing you're not supposed to do is like the squeaking shouldn't stimulate him. And so, chewy ropes or a really good bone, not rawhide, but bone, or the Dentabones are all good options. So thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Chills Cryptics, my buddy. How's it going? Would you be interested in making masks? Do you mean like masks like what? Like you'd want like a Pablo mask and a Toby mask, something like that? I don't know. I guess that'd be interesting. Or like a duck mask, because that could be kind of fun. All right. Gohan the turtle. Toby is about a year and a half old. So his birth date was September 2nd, 2019. And so that makes him 1 year and like, I don't do math in public, but like 1 year and 4 months. All right. This is another good one from Bodie Peterson. Do you have a suggestion for guard goose? So yes. So if somebody's thinking about getting a guard goose on their farm, here's what I would suggest. I would suggest getting one gosling and raising it up with a batch of either ducklings or chicks, depending on what you want it to primarily guard. And no, don't raise it with any other geese. Just raise it with those ducks and chicks or ducklings and chicks. And that would be the best way to do it. I think a lot of different breeds that I do around here are good for guard geese. So I think Emdens are excellent guard geese. I think Pilgrims are good guard geese. I think Toulouse are good guard geese. Okay, all right. So now I want to quickly tell you guys the story of my friend Kiri at Built on a Rock Homestead. So Kiri lives down in Texas, West Texas, I believe, and she has a little homestead, and she had an Emden goose, like a female, who started sitting on a nest. And so I sent Kiri a box of goose eggs last spring, and I think I sent her like about 7 or 8, and I think she had about 5 of them hatched. I don't know, Kiri, you can correct me in the chat. And what happened is her geese that hatched out last year just had geese this year. So there's like a 3rd generation of Goldshaw farm geese living out in Texas now. And to me, that's just awesome. All right. Stupid Minotaur. Lumber prices selling high. Also, they changed political since becoming a farmer. Here, a lot of libs changed to Republicans from becoming farmers. All right. So let me unpack that one because there's a couple of questions buried in there. And I saw a couple other super chats. I will get to you guys in just a minute. So lumber prices are high. It's got me really rethinking some building projects. We were actually planning on redoing a part of our house to make it like a Airbnb, but I don't think I'm going to have the ability to do that right now this year. I'm also reconsidering doing the barn this year. So that's one thing. And then, no, I would say I'm still relatively on the left side of the political spectrum. So yeah, it hasn't changed since I started being a farmer. Okay. Thank you, D Lillo. That's great. Yeah. When did punk rock become a joke? I won't sing the rest of that song, but yeah, it's a good one. Thank you, Merrick Duet, for that super chat. Would you ever expand your breed of geese in a flock? If you would, I would definitely suggest African geese. I might. I've always kind of shied away from Africans. They've always seemed kind of aggressive to me. So I'm not sure that I would do that. DDJ, thank you for that super chat. It's very generous of you. Love your channel. Why haven't your newly hatched geese imprinted on you? Well, I mean, they do. It's just I try to raise my farm animals like farm animals. I don't want them to be like house geese. And so they're especially the geese that I hatched last year are so much easier to work with and handle than the geese that were, say, hatched by the parents. So if you like incubate and hatch your geese yourself, it will be easier. But I also made sure that I let them be geese and like be outside with their other geese. So yeah, that would be why. I'm like I said, by the end of this live stream, I will actually take you guys on a tour of the house, and we'll go up to the hatching room and see what's going on up there right now. Holly Adkins asks, any news on the puppy situation? And well, Holly, no, it's pretty much the same as when I put up that last video. We're just kind of waiting. We're hoping that the mom gets pregnant. Everything looks okay from a veterinary perspective. So it's just a matter of seeing if the magic happens. All right. Okay, Rick Martinez is asking what's my next video. So for you guys who wonder when our videos come out, I post a video every Monday and every Thursday, pretty much without fail. So the next video will come out tomorrow morning. It's actually all about something that happened the other week here on the farm, and has been a developing situation. So I'll give you guys a sneak preview because you put in the effort to come to this live chat. So the video is about this goose, this mother goose, that has taken over Toby's house. If you follow our TikTok account, and if you don't, you should. I have a lot of fun making those TikTok videos. You'll find this story of, like, I've been doing daily updates about this goose that's been sitting in Toby's house. And so the video that I shot last week and I'm putting up tomorrow, because it took me a little while to edit it, is going to be all about that. I also have videos planned about the new hoop house greenhouse that we're building. I've got a thing that we're doing to save money on lumber prices for some building projects. So I'll show you what I'm doing there. Other upcoming videos include, I talk a little bit about the egg business and how that works. There should be some fun ones. And also, very soon, there's going to be a new video featuring my buddy Alfred. If you guys know Alfred, drop a 1 in the chat. Oh, thank you for that super chat there, Swarmcat. Oh, well, I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you guys. That's very nice of you, the farm girl. I appreciate that too. This live sheet should turn into a video for watching later. Nobody should use it as it's a scamware. I don't know. I will admit I personally enjoy TikTok as a platform, and I enjoy making videos for TikTok. I also, and I've got a lot of questions about this because I think some people get annoyed with it. I've been starting to do more YouTube shorts. And usually there are a lot of the same videos that end up on TikTok, so that you guys on YouTube, if you don't like TikTok, you can still see some of the same content. But a lot of people get annoyed because they're not like my longer videos. And I'm sorry, I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what people think about that. And then Mage Skeleton, I always leave my live streams up. So probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours after I finish the recording, YouTube posts this live and it'll show up as a video in your feed. So it'll be there for later if you can't stay for the whole thing. I also feel really bad for folks who are in Europe, especially because I know that they aren't able to always watch live. And so I don't know, at some point I might try to do sort of my own like morning show so people in Europe can enjoy this too. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, World That Spoke. Thank you for that super chat. Okay, I'm going to help out Pepper the Chicken. Can you help me out? I have a white and gray fancy pigeon. What should I name it? A white and gray fancy pigeon. Well, I guess gender sort of matters on a good name. I think if I had a fancy white and gray pigeon that was a male, I would probably call him Lord Pendleton. I don't know. For some reason that strikes me. So it'd be like, Lord Pendleton, come to me. And or then, maybe I just call him Pendy for short. And then if it was a female, I think I would name her Louisa, but then I would like call her Wisa for short because I think that's kind of funny. So that's my answer. Oh, Stephanie Street, thank you for that super chat. What type of brand name feed do you use for your chickens and how much per chicken? They are super fat and happy. So in terms of feed, and actually a lot of people ask me this, especially after the Tractor Supply videos. For feed for my animals, I usually get most of my feed from a local feed mill here, Morrison Feeds. They're right in technically their feed operation is in Barnet, Vermont, but their like store that I go to is in St. Johnsbury. They're really good people. It's a family-owned business. They're local here to my area, and so I always prefer to buy my stuff through Morrison's. There's also Poulin Grains, which is another decent local-ish Vermont company, and so that's kind of an option as well. I think the other thing I would say is In terms of what I feed them, I usually give them like a layer feed for most of the birds, for the chickens especially, and then I'll mix in like scratch grains for the ducks and geese, so it just has a lower protein level. And then I try to really promote as much free ranging as possible by all the birds. And then chickens also get a lot of our kitchen scraps. Thank you, Lisa Sweat, for that super chat. And how is Bruce? Still with his ladies? Are they sticking together? Yes. So, and you'll see this actually in the video I post tomorrow. The buff geese are like a whole new flock of geese that I have here. So they are as thick as thieves. They are very rarely separated, and they really seem very happy here on the farm. And so I think it's been a good end to that story. I mean, or at least a good situation with them. All right. Thank you, Alex. Oh, that's an excellent one. If it's a female, the Gray Lady, like it's a newspaper, like the New York Times, like the old Gray Lady. Yeah, I like that name. That's a good suggestion, Alex. Thank you, Tifa Files. Does Pablo ever get to visit Lil in the house? So occasionally. So in the winter time, when the temperatures get below 0, we will often let Pablo come in the house, and sometimes they'll visit with Lil. Sometimes they'll also sort of meet up in the mudroom occasionally. They like to hang out together. It's pretty cool. Oh, thank you, Design and Science. I appreciate that. And thank you, Maya. I appreciate that too. Oh, wow. Judy, that's very, very generous of you. I really appreciate that. And I love Toby, and I'm very humbled by that. That's very generous of you. And you're very welcome. Little Farm, Big Camera. Any advice on how to have a popular farm YouTube channel? Little Farm, Big Cameras, what I would say is that I think focusing on telling your story, whatever it might be, and really showing people what's going on, giving people a good beginning, middle, and ending, keeping it entertaining, keeping it interesting. I think those are the most important elements. Some people will point to fancy cameras and all sorts of stuff or like editing tricks, but I think it's a matter of really trying to make content that matches your voice, that like is something you really care about and that you enjoy, because I think people very much see that. And if you're not enjoying the content you're creating, like if you wouldn't want to just sit down and watch it yourself, then you're going to have a hard time finding others to do it. But I would focus on telling your story, focus on what's going on in your farm, what's happening. I think those would be the things. Yes, Fabian, I 100% agree with you. You should never drink the pond water. Good night, Gabrielle, sorry. Do I recommend getting silkies to brood other birds? I don't think I'm a good guy to make a recommendation at this point. I think that silkies are really great. I've enjoyed having them so far. I will say, and I don't want to give anything away, but there is one silkie who's sitting on a nest of eggs right now. I have not had them raise other birds yet, but I plan to do that at some point this summer. How do I balance your work, farm, job, relationships? I love your videos. Desire, that's a tough one. I don't know if I do a very good job. I think the biggest trick for me, though, is I enjoy everything I do. I actually genuinely like my day job. I genuinely like the people I work with in my day job. I really love working on the farm. I really love making videos for you guys. And so kind of doing all of those things and enjoying it, that to me is the biggest thing. Oh, Holly Grace, thank you very much for that super chat. I really appreciate that, Holly Grace. Thank you. What about that spooky cereal? Oh, wait, so do you mean Magic Spoon? Look, it's funny. I noticed a lot of comments on the video about Magic Spoon where people are like, that stuff's so expensive. And I will acknowledge 100%, Magic Spoon is not cheap, but it tastes really good. And, nutritionally speaking, it's pretty good for you. So I think I will say I'm a fan. Ooh, Grayson Roberts is a good one. So how did the farm get its logo? So I actually drew the logo myself. It is a bear with a bird on top of it, as you can see in the upper corner here. And actually the bear represents two things. One, the bear is me, because Allison says I kind of sometimes look like a grizzly bear, and especially the way I open up packages, she says it's like a grizzly bear. And then the bird is Allison, because we actually, when we went one time, we went on a trip to a safari to Africa where we saw like these rhinoceroses that had these birds on them that would pick the ticks off and take care of them. And it was a very nice symbiotic relationship between the bird and the rhinoceros. And Allison and I always felt like that was like relationship goals. And so we just sort of translated the rhinoceros to a bear because rhinoceroses in Vermont like aren't a thing. And so that's what it is. And I just kind of thought it was a funny image. And that's where it came from. You know, Micah, I like that idea. I do want to try to do it. I think it's I would just have to figure out how to do it. I will say this. I am actually working with a friend, or a couple friends, I should say, to figure out a way to take a lot of my videos and bring them to Facebook so that they can show up in other places. We might also try a couple other platforms. And so maybe we're going to try to do Twitch as well. But I actually like Twitch a lot, so I'd be up for it. How are the solar pond floaty things holding up? Great question, Natalie. Unfortunately, not well. So we've had a lot of rain here on the farm over the last week, and the pond is like way back up to overflowing. So I don't know if you've probably seen in recent videos, the pond like got to its natural state, which is good. That's where I want the water to hold. But now it's like back up to the overflow mode. We've gotten so much rain, and the pond floaty things, they got covered with gunk. And so I actually just had to take them out yesterday because they just stopped working. It's not like they were doing much, but it was kind of a fun little experiment while it lasted. That's an interesting question, Arya. So I guess if somebody wanted to sponsor our YouTube channel, the best thing to do would be you can send us emails at goldshawfarm@select.co. That goes to myself as well as my friend Charlie and Diana. They both help manage and organize that stuff. And so, yeah, if you wanted to sponsor us, that's probably the best way to go. Oh no. Sometimes when I try to click on these. Hey, my friends, the Naked Gardeners, who, by the way, if you guys have not seen the Naked Gardeners, you should check out their channel. And by the way, you should also check out the channels of all of our moderators. I'm looking to see who's here. We got Don at Little Mountain Life. Little Mountain Life, you guys don't know them. They are this awesome, super cool couple living in Virginia with their daughters, and they are building a pole barn house and having a homestead. It's great stuff. You should check it out. I see Mallory over at the Quebec Homestead. She's awesome. She's just like hardcore, just does some amazing stuff. And yeah, she's not too far from me. I think it's a couple hours from me up in Quebec. I'm not sure, but I'm just trying to see if there's anybody else on here. If there is, please speak up. I don't want to ignore you. But then, and my buddy Ethan over at 180 Degrees from Average, and Kira over at Homestead Dreaming, who's awesome. And she's got just a great spot in Oklahoma where she does kind of like a urban suburban homestead. And then my friends, the Naked Gardeners there. So to answer your question, guys, I will probably eventually start stocking the pond. I really want to actually focus on plant life first. And so as the growing season gets going here in Vermont, I'm going to be adding some aqua plants to the pond, and that will be the first thing. So I don't think I'll add any fish this year, but maybe in future years. So I actually do have a Patreon. So I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but we do have a Patreon, just Goldshaw Farm and Patreon, I think. And actually, for Patreon fans, they have the chance, if you're one of our patrons, you can actually jump into one of these live streams. And so it's one of the perks of being with us. I'm probably going to announce a few new perks too as well. Yeah, and Ken Shaw is 100% right when it comes to and I think this is the meaning of the fish. They will definitely be eaten by the ducks, especially the larvae. We had little tadpoles that laid in our pond last year, and the ducks ate them all up. Hey, Bettina Horton, another one of my moderators. What's going on, Bettina? RJ's Farm. Yes, I've had my share of mean geese, especially this time of year when we are doing we got the mating and nesting season going. The ganders can all be pretty aggressive. Oh, what happened to Toby Doug's portrait? All right, here, wait. I'm sorry. I forgot to put it up. There it is. Ta-da. I I had some meetings for work earlier today, and so I took it down just to look somewhat more professional, and that's what happened to it. Also, if you guys are curious, I think you should probably see some new merch that we have with Toby Dog's portrait on it. It's available. Like, there's some cool stuff. Check it out. It should be right down below this video. Thank you, Casey Burkle, by the way. Love the videos and the barn cats. My girlfriend has cats, and alas, I'm allergic. Have you kept up with the allergen-reducing cat shampoo? Has it worked? So honestly, Casey, I have not kept up with the shampoo. You probably see me occasionally rubbing and scratching my nose. That's from my allergies. I take Claritin on a regular basis, and that helps a lot. I also make sure that whenever I pet Lil, I try to wash my hands, and that makes a big difference. And so as long as I'm not getting the dander in my face and my nose and my eyes, I'm usually pretty good. You know what, Amelia? Amelfia? Bruce actually ditched his 2 original girlfriends. So the girlfriends that he had on the farm, he's ditched. He has gone totally to the buff squad. And I don't know, in a way that's a little bit sad, but it happens. Thank you, Carrie Ann. What animal do I think is a great starter? I was thinking silly chickens, but I'm so new to this. I think chickens are probably the easiest animal to start with. So I don't think you're wrong for thinking chickens. Ducks are a little bit harder because they're messier and they got to deal with their water. So I think that's there. Yeah, so I would probably suggest somebody start with chickens if they were just a beginner and wanted the easiest thing possible. What are my thoughts on bread? I mean, if bread the food, I like bread. I probably eat too much bread. Yeah, I think bread is good. So that's my thoughts on bread. When are the eggs going to hatch? Karen Haney, I think the eggs are going to hatch overnight tonight, or at least a bunch of them are. And like I said, actually, for those of you guys who might have come later, by the end of this webcast, I am going to be taking you guys on a little trip across the other side of the house, and we're going to go check in the incubator room and see what's going on. Chris Kelly asks, how old am I? Well, Chris, it's a personal question. I am 41 years old. So, yeah. I'm born in the 80s. That's how I roll. I guess I'm not sure what generation that makes me. It's always weird, right? Like in some charts, I'm like a young Gen Xer, and in some charts, I'm like an old millennial. So I'm like right on the cusp there. Holly Adkins, I have been so busy. I've been procrastinating on my book, to be totally honest with you guys, like especially the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm actually taking a week off from work later this month. And my goal is to like spend the day each day that I would be typically working just writing. So that's my goal. Oh, I don't know. I thought somebody did. I was like, what? Okay, Designs and Science. Thank you for that super chat. Can you tell me if our dog eating duck poo is okay? I think it's generally okay. Toby does it and he hasn't had any problems. So I wouldn't take that as medical advice, but yeah, that's, Steve Lapointe, treats for Toby Dog. Thank you, Steve Lapointe. That's very generous of you. And thank you, Holly Grace. I really appreciate that super chat. So Connor is asking, when are you going to get the bees? So guys, the bees are here. I actually installed them on Sunday. So you'll see that video probably next week because I just got to sit down and have time to edit it. But the bees are here. We do have bees now. If you look on our TikTok, I even made one video about the bees. And so, yeah, they are here. Oh, wow. Cowgirls LV. Thank you. That's crazy. That's a very, very generous super chat. I am very appreciative. So, random person, LOL. My favorite duck, I think these days I would say is the cayuga. The other thing I'll tell you guys is we've had the wild ducks have returned. So over the last week, especially with the rains and the floods, we've got about 6 or 7 wild ducks that have been hanging out with our flock every day. They go running, yeah, they won't stay close to me. And like when I go lock up the ducks, they go fly away. But they've been definitely living on our farm. Ethan's telling me, yeah, we're exennials, which yeah, Ethan's about the same age as me. What's the update for the plan with the cows? Asks Piper Lely. Well, Piper Lely, the plan is I just got a good lead on some Dexters, and so no news yet, but I would say I'm hoping optimistically very soon. I will tell you guys, I'm trying to be as patient as possible with this, and I don't want to rush. I might even wait until the fall to get a better price on some of the cattle. So, just know that this is going to be a long one. Had a 2-year-old goose hatching, but nothing pipped, and we're all developing. Any ideas why? I don't know. So I'm assuming it's a 2-year-old goose sitting on the nest and nothing pipped. How long? I've had a couple of goose nests that I've been trying to have going this spring that have been spoiled because the mom just couldn't keep enough time on the nest each day. So that would be the one thought I'd have. Sasha says, I'm still a child. So Terry Sheets, I am not planning on getting a peacock. But I will tell you that there was kind of a funny thing that happened with a peacock in our town. So there's a woman who lives on the other side of town, and she has peacocks, and one of her peacocks escaped, and it was running around town, and every day somebody would post on our town Facebook group, like I've spotted this peacock in my backyard. Hey, look at this peacock in the center of town. And so all over Peacham, there was a peacock running around, and it was a lot of fun. I was hoping the peacock would show up on our farm. I hope you have queen traps, especially with the weather. It's swarming season. If you get out of your way, I can show you a bit of bees. I'm near a couple months. Okay. Yeah, no, I do. And actually, Kaylee over at the Honeystead has been kind of like one of my bee gurus. And so, that is the latest. Kennedy Madison asks, am I getting more ducks? And yes, Kennedy, I am. There will be ducks coming to our farm in 2 ways this year. I'll be hatching out ducks later this summer. I'm really focusing on hatching geese right now, but once I finish with the geese, I'll start hatching ducks and chickens. And I also have a batch of Indian runners coming later this summer, so I'm excited. Oh, that's really nice of you to say, Pat Rogers. And I got to say, guys, I found that whole tractor supply experience quite a learning experience. It was interesting to see what it took to get people's attention. I think I took a lot of those lessons, and I'm filing away for the future if I see other problems. And I got to say, I was so impressed by all the support that you guys showed, and just how many people went out and actively went to their tractor supply to see what was going on. It was pretty incredible. So thank you guys. It would not have been possible without you. Oh, that's a shame. We'll have to look into that, Chris Kelly. Aces High ask, where is my favorite place to travel to in the world? That's a good question. I got to admit, these days I'm very reluctant to travel. I mean, beyond the whole pandemic thing, I also just really hate leaving the farm because I just like that. I think my favorite place to live that I don't live now was probably New York City. And so I would love to go back on a trip for a weekend to go to New York, see some friends, hang out, go to restaurants. And so probably post-pandemic plans, that's the one thing on my list for sure. Tangy Man, should I eat my hostile rooster? If he's become too hostile for you to deal with, that would probably be what I would do, for what it's worth. I have recently gotten 2 ducklings, and so far they're doing really good. We think we have a male and a female. Their names Gizmo and Gracie. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Very cool, Chelsea Cunningham. Sue Ashworth, I will probably get turkeys in the future. Not this year, but next year. If I were to say what's what, I would definitely go for that. So definitely, Sue. I would get turkeys. Sorry, I get so distracted with all the chats. I apologize. What happens to the farm animals if you travel for a couple of days? How do you manage it when you're away? So usually we'll have like a farm sitter. So like a friend will come stay at the farm to take care of everybody is usually what happens, which is why it's a lot harder to get away when you have a farm. So Grayson, I don't plan on adding anything new to the permaculture orchard, but I will be replanting chestnuts. Actually, I think this weekend I'm going to dig up the chestnut seeds that I planted in the fall and start putting them into beds. And I'll probably also start sprouting my black locust seeds. So a lot more to come there. Hey, Tiago. Greetings from Brazil. Your videos always premiere around noon here, so the best time of day is relaxing, watching videos, having lunch. Congrats. Oh, well, thank you, Tiago. I really appreciate that. So, Angela, the origin of our farm name is this. So my last name, or Allison's last name too, is Gold. So you know, Morgan Gold is my name, as you can actually, I don't know if it says it on the screen here. And so that was the one part. That's the gold part. The other part is our farm was, you know, it's a very old farm. It's almost 200 years old. The Shaw family owned it for about 100 plus years. And locally here, everybody knows our farm as the Shaw farm. And so when we got here, the people who before us actually called the farm Old Shaw Farm. And I said as a joke, hey, we should just draw a G on the sign and call it Gold Shaw Farm. And that kind of stuck. And so that'll be like you know, that's and that ended up how we got it. All right, Charlotte Thompson, why add cows? How about goats? You get milk and meat from them. So the reason I want to do cows is because we have so much grass. We have a lot of grass here, and cattle as a bigger animal, I find that the business model of them works really good, and so that's actually the main reason. So like the economics of cattle versus goats. Goats are harder to sell. There's a lot more wrapped up in processing costs. And so as I think about a longer term business model, that's why. What's my favorite book? That's a good one, Apis. A couple of my favorite books. It's tough to narrow it down to just one. I love Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. It's one of my favorites. On the Road by Jack Kerouac, another one of my favorites. Mrs. Brisby and the Rats of Nim is another great one that I always have loved. What else? The Stand by Stephen King is pretty incredible. So yeah. Yes, Allison Hoffman. I really like the side by side. I'm very glad I got it. I'm glad it was actually the first like real tool that I bought for the farm. And yeah. Cowgirls LV, I will see you down at the farm there too. By the way, again, thank you for that super generous super chat, Cowgirls. And I will see you down in Virginia. And for those of you guys who don't know, Homesteaders of America is hosting a new conference, or I guess another conference. They do it every year. They didn't do it last year. It's I think it's October 9th and 10th down in Front Royal, Virginia. I will be going down there. I'll be teaching actually a class on geese. So you guys can hang out with me in person and we'll talk geese for a couple hours. It'll be a lot of fun. So you should definitely come down. That is a great question. Watching me, I'm flying. It is not in shape for the cows. And actually, one of the promises I made Allison is before we get the cows, I got to clean the barn. And so that's one of the things I got to actually start doing, even though it's like the least favorite thing I have to do. Oh boy, Lucille, you're just going to make me roll my eyes. And for those of you who aren't aware of Toby Dog's full name, it is Sir Bartleby de Mimsy Porpington, Earl of Caledonia County. When is a barn tour coming? That's a great idea for a video, Allie's Acres. I'm gonna write that one down. Oh, all right. I'm trying to find good questions here. All right. What happens to the farm? Yeah, I mean, that's basically what happened, Hellburner. All right, this is kind of related to the question about origin. I want to know, as a graphic designer who specializes in logo design, what's the meaning? Oh, like I was saying earlier, Allison represents the bird, who's like sort of the symbiotic creature that lives with me, the bear. You know, it's the idea of nature living in harmony, basically. And plus, I really like bears. And I also have a dream of living to be 104 years old and getting eaten by a bear. Oh, thank you, Jody. I really appreciate that super chat. That's very generous of you. Toby's awesome, but Pablo steals the show. Yeah, Pablo usually does. Okay, Alex Zoo also asked for a super chat question. I just want to answer it. Do you sell Goose down? How much do you sell? I don't sell it, Alex. I don't know how to. So what happens is this. When I butcher the geese, I will actually dip them in hot water and pluck them out. And so the down is all wet and gross. I've tried to dry it a few times, but every time I try to do it, it just gets moldy and mildewy. And so basically I have to throw it out. I ultimately want to try to figure out a way to sell the goose down, though, because I'd love to be able to use every part of the animal. I don't play video games anymore, Jackson. I used to be like a crazy video game fan, and I loved like the Grand Theft Auto series. I loved like the Civilization series. But these days I just don't have the time, and so I don't play video games much anymore. Ethan's gonna die in a knife fight with the bear. They'll find us both dead underneath the bear. It is known. It's so true, buddy. By the way, if you guys don't know Ethan over at 180 Degrees from Average, you should check out his channel. He and his family just moved to a new homestead in Missouri, and they were like going crazy doing some amazing stuff. I'm excited to see some of the videos he produces in the next few weeks. Yeah, like I said earlier, Bakaneko. I made the logo. I did it myself. I don't know. I mean, I might change it someday or evolve it a little bit. So Erica, this is a really good question. Ron Swanson, yeah, she's done something very weird in the last like month or two. Ron Swanson now goes to bed with the ducks, and the rest of the geese stay up at night because I don't lock up any of the geese this time of year. But during the day, she spends all her time with the geese, and so it's weird. She like splits her time between the ducks and geese. It's kind of cute. She is definitely the weirdest duck we have on the farm. And I would actually say, I just Facebook posted a reminder. 2 days ago was actually Ron Swanson's 1 year birthday. So she's now 1 year old. Runt the Brave is a good book. I'll have to check that out. Similar to Rats and Nim. Yeah, I think Justin Finch Fletchley, despite our arguments, is probably my favorite goose. How many inside pets do we have? Just the one. Just a little barn cat here. Here, give you guys a chance to say hi to Lil. Come on, Lil. No. So if you're willing to hatch out your eggs, I always think it's better to hatch out your own birds versus buying live ones. But that's not to say buying live ones is also a good option too. Would you ever consider getting the chicken breed Brahma? Maybe. You sell syrup that you get in the fall. So Braden, you actually don't get syrup in the fall. Here in Vermont, our sugaring season is in the spring. So like March into like maybe early April. And I don't produce enough to do it. We really only produce enough sap here on our farm to, all right, I'll let you go. Gratuitous little butt shot right now for you guys. We really only do enough sap and syrup for our personal use. So we don't do that. Just the same thing with the honey that we've got with the bees. Like I don't expect to sell that. It's just really more to have good pollinators around the farm. And the honey is just a bonus for Allison and me. Oh, thank you, Chris Cox. If you name one of your ducks or geese Kashko, I'll super chat you Kashuko. Maybe. I'll have to look up what that means. I don't want to like name it something bad, but thank you for that super chat, Christopher Cox. Kashuko. Hey, Nicole. Thank you for the super chat. My ducks got attached. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Attacked by a predator. The ones that are left are petrified, maybe in shock. Will they go back to normal? Yeah. I have found this too, that after a predator attack, ducks are most definitely like in shock, and those first few days after the predator, they're not right. Give it a little time, and you'll find that they get a little bit better. That would be what I'd suggest. No, Lil Barn Cat is an indoor cat only. I don't know if you can tell that she was climbing on my back. She's just not as mobile as she used to be, and we're worried that she'd get hurt again. So no. Yes, my neighbors do, not across the road, but my next door neighbor, Frank, and his partner, Patrice, they will hear me yell out every so often. Do I ever teach classes in Missouri? How old is Lil Barn Cat? So Lil Barn Cat, let's see, on April 1st, that's her birthday. She turned 3 years old. And I don't think I'll be teaching classes in Missouri, but I will be teaching a class in Virginia this year in October. Exactly, 111 Unleashed. Hey, Jordan, or Charlie and Jordan. Any plans for pigs? In the future, yes. Not this year. Next year I could see maybe pigs being a project for me, but we'll see how the cow experiment goes first. I got to pace myself before I try to take on too much stuff, Why did I choose the Maremma? So it's two reasons, actually. Number one, I really, everything I read and all the research I did, I found that the Maremma was great with poultry. Great Pyrenees, I'd seen reports of them struggling. Like Great Pyrenees, I saw struggling, like I've heard of issues like dealing with chickens. And so that was one thing. And then the other was I have friends who had Maremmas, and I just love those dogs. And actually, Toby is the son of one of my friend's dogs. And so I think that's really how I got into it. Are all the DC insiders growing their own food? I don't know. I don't even know what a DC insider technically is. So I'm not sure. But thank you for the super chat, Alex. What's your favorite farm animal and the worst? My favorite one is probably the goose. The worst one, I don't know. I don't keep any animals around that I don't like, I guess. That's really the honest answer. You can actually see this, guys, right? I picked up Lil, and now my face is itching. Hey, Morgan. Hope things are going well. Thank you, Justin Reed. Your content has helped me through the pandemic. How has Peachum handled COVID-19? It's actually very nice here in Peachum. I mean, we're very fortunate because we have a lot of space, and I think we are a very good community. I think Vermont is a very community-minded state in general, and I've enjoyed that. So a lot of neighbors helping neighbors over the last year. So I think we've handled it well as a community and haven't had very high infection rates. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Love your channel. Can you recommend an incubator for Pekin jumbo eggs? So I have got to say, so I used to use the Hovabator, and I really didn't like it very much. This is like a styrofoam box. What I have found is that Brinzy is like my favorite incubator company now. And this is not sponsored. This is just my personal opinion. Brinzy, which is actually the incubator I have, which I will show you guys probably in about 15 minutes. We'll go for a little field trip. Brinzy is the incubator manufacturer I like. And so they have like a smaller version that, like, if you're only doing a couple eggs, that's what I do. I got the 380 cabinet, and that's been pretty great as well. Oh, thank you, James. I'll be getting turkey someday. Not this year, maybe in the next couple of years. I saw somebody ask earlier, and I didn't get to the question about hunting. We're in turkey hunting season right now, so that's really where I'm hoping to get a turkey right now. So Frontline, this is a great question. I have tried a couple of different things, and what I have found is doing multiple scalding plucking cycles is the best way to do it. And trying to time your harvest dates to when they're going through a molt, or actually just before they go through a molt. And so those are the two things that I would say if you're trying to figure out your own butchering situation. I 100% agree with this comment. Je m'appelle Pele. Probably did the horrible French accent there. I think geese, I know people talk about chickens being very related to dinosaurs, but I got to say, I find the geese to be extremely related to dinosaurs. Like it's eerie almost. So yes. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Toby dogs are great. My neighbors has 4. They sleep in the snow. Don't let the poo-poo stuff bother you. They don't feel cold. Yeah, he's totally fine outside. It's funny. People will comment on our videos and give me a hard time for this or that. And, I appreciate the feedback, and sometimes it's actually good advice. But then there's certain times when I know like a fact of something that people might not appreciate. I just kind of let the comment roll off my back. It doesn't bug me. But thank you for the super chat, Lisa. Angela asks, would you guys be open hosting a weekend experience out of the farm? Yeah, I am trying to plan this out right now, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get my act together or not, but I do want to actually try to have some farm weekends here where it's like I have like an open farm day on like a Saturday. I unfortunately, because of my schedule, I can't just have people dropping by, like, because I get requests like that a lot. But so I won't do that, but I will be trying to figure that out. I will definitely say probably the last weekend in September, maybe the first weekend in October. I'm still trying to nail this down. I will be doing like the goose pickup too. And so the other thing that you can do is, other than the tour, if you buy a goose from us, you can come to the farm. I'll give you a tour. You can meet Pablo, meet Toby, see the animals, walk the farm. I'll talk to you about the farm, all that good stuff. And so that will be at least one thing that happens this year. I might try to do like a bigger farm day, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But I'm looking at it, Angela, and I'll let you guys know. If you guys want to find out about that, the best way to do it is go on our website, goldshawfarm.com, and you can sign up. If you scroll down, you can sign up for a mailing list, and I will definitely sort of tell folks who are either our Patreon subscribers or subscribe to a mailing list, which is free, first. And so that would be the thing I'd suggest, because I'll probably have to limit the number of tickets that we sell for something like that. So is Allison starting her veggie plants in the house? She actually is. Yeah, we've got in just the bathroom across the hall from this room, my office, we've got like, I don't know, 50 or 60 plants going and starts. I actually am in the process of building new garden beds for Allison's garden. So that's actually what my weekend plans are going to be all about, is getting the garden in order. I got to put up the fencing. So we're going to be busy here on the farm. That's for darn sure. How are the ducks doing after the mink attack? Yeah, there is still, most of the ducks are 100% recovered from their mink attacks. There is like one duck that has a kink in its neck. Yeah, she always has had that ever since the attack. It's just part of the injury. She's fine. She's healthy. And so, it's it's unfortunate, but that's how she rolls, I guess, is kind of all I can say to it. I had one other one that her name was Twisty Neck. I actually nicknamed her Twisty Neck because she was like even worse than that one. I ended up having to put her down because she was getting a lot of infections because she couldn't clean herself. She couldn't eat properly, and she was just really suffering. And so most of the ducks are fully recovered. I lost in total about 6 ducks from those attacks. That's about that. So yeah, some of my old friends from DC and New York and Boston, they all come to visit. It hasn't happened in the last year though, because of the pandemic. But we will be hopefully doing that in the near future. I don't know, it's probably a controversial topic, but I'm willing to talk about it. I've already got my first dose of the vaccine. I'm gearing up to get my second dose of the vaccine in I think in about 2 weeks. And then I guess it's another 2 weeks after that. But then after that, I'm like, yeah, let's hang, guys. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Morgan, do you plan on getting a crap ton of chickens? No, I don't plan on getting that many chickens to chicken. I probably will hatch out a batch of eggs this year and add some more layers to the flock and probably raise up some roosters for the dinner table. But that's about it. You have a favorite YouTuber and you think about pigeons? Yeah, I got some favorite YouTubers. Let's see, non-farming homesteading YouTubers I love. I love Casey Neistat. I think he's genius. I like Mark Rober a lot. In our space, my buddy Ethan over at 180 Degrees from Average, Don over at Little Mountain Life, Mallory, Homestead Dreaming is a great channel too. You should check out. They're all great. That's a really great question, Narita. I think my favorite part is actually, there's a certain period in editing when I've gone through and logged all my footage and broken out all the clips, and I'm like sitting down to like structure the video and set it to music and take it from just like a bunch of footage to like a polished product. I love that. That's one of my happiest times in life, is just to be sitting right here in the spot that I'm sitting in right now, working, doing that. I had the lights turned down low. I got Lil purring in the background. That's like my happy place. Oh, well, that's really appreciated. Would I ever plan for swans? No, I have no intention on ever getting swans. Actually, I actually should hit the Patreon questions too. One question that folks are asking is, will I get exotic species like pheasants or swans? Lauren Huppler asked if I was going to get pheasants. And basically, I would say I just don't have any intention on ever getting animals that aren't like, for farm product. I really believe that the world needs more small farms. And so what we are trying to start here is a genuine, honest to goodness small farm. And so animals like swans and peacocks and even pheasants to a certain extent I would just find to be more of a distraction and a much harder business model to produce. By the way, guys, these hats are now available. They're very cool. They've got this kind of like raised embroidered font. I love it. I've been wearing mine all over the place. Already getting kind of dirty. Those are available right down below. So Michael actually asked too, as a nurse practitioner, does Allison have a PhD? She does not have a PhD. She does have actually 2 master's degrees. She has a master's in public health, and she has a master's in like nurse practicing medicine or something like that. Yeah. So, but no PhD. She's actually planning on trying to go back for a PhD at some point. All right. I'm missing on so many questions. I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing my best to keep up. So I use Adobe Premiere to edit my videos, Potato Brawl Stars. I actually was thinking, and tell me in the chat if you guys would be curious to see this. I was thinking about making a video about how I make my videos. Would you guys find that interesting or boring? Let me know in the chat. Christian asks, garden update soon. So Christian, yeah, the garden, like I was saying, I need to finish building it. I've got the garden beds built. I've got the posts in. I got to put the beds in place, fill them up with compost, and get the fence up. And so my goal is actually to try to do all that this weekend. Okay, yeah, lots of people would be interested in seeing the video. That's cool. All right, so then stay tuned. Probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll get that in the work. If I had one thing to eat for the rest of your life, what would it be? Not taking any nutritional requirements. That's a good question, Jackson. I think what would I pick? I don't know, maybe eggplant parmesan. That's probably one of my favorite foods, honestly. Pizza, tacos, maybe sushi. I don't know. This is probably all the categories that I go for. It'd be tough to pick just one. Yeah, no, I love that channel. I think he does some really good work. So Sly Foxian, I definitely plan on. I'm actually getting some Indian runners this year as well. I don't know if you guys saw that really tall duck that was like storming the internet over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I think he was a runner duck as well. But yeah, I actually am going to be getting about a dozen runner ducks. And yeah, that's it. What made you move to a cold climate as opposed to a warmer climate? Valerie, I grew up in New England. I grew up in Connecticut, and so I'm used to having like a real winter. I mean, even Connecticut's a little milder than here, but like when I lived in warmer climates like DC, I just didn't like it, especially the summers. I was miserable because it was so hot. I love that idea, David Lynn. I will definitely make one of those. Those are some good suggestions too, Ethan. I will definitely give you that. Ooh, keeps moving so quick. How do you see yourself 10 years from now? I'm hoping just actually being kind of, doing what I'm doing. I am probably the happiest in my life at this point in terms of the situation I'm in. And so if I just can keep doing this, keep getting better at what I'm doing, that would really be my hope and my dream for it all, for sure. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Runner ducks are awesome. Yeah. Oh, you're a postal worker. Okay, well, good luck. Sleep well, and thank you. I appreciate the support. So Riley Hicks asked, do we get a lot of wild ducks, geese that feed or look? So like I was saying, if you actually watch our TikTok, you'll see some videos of this today. We have probably it's a whole bunch of wild ducks that are there. Years past, we've had Canada geese stop by as well. I haven't seen any really hang out much this year so far, but maybe they might come soon. I don't know, Aces High. I'm not a lawyer. I probably wouldn't be the one to give it to you. Oh, yeah. No, I like Cog Hill. Jason and his family are awesome. Actually, I sent a batch of eggs. So I was getting some fall goose eggs back in October. And I didn't want to try to hatch them here because I didn't want to have to raise the geese indoors. And so I actually sent them to Jason, and he hatched them out, or he tried to hatch them out. But then he had a hurricane and a power outage, so the eggs weren't viable. But yeah, no, Jason's a buddy. I think Cog Hill's awesome. Okay, ducks and chickens. I know I already answered this, but yes, I'm going to get them as soon as I can find the right situation. I'm planning on Dexter's probably about 6 to 8. And yeah, that's my plan. Yes, I am Ricardo. Sorry. I am friends with Ben over at the Urban Rescue Ranch. He's a buddy of mine. I think he is I forgot, I should have mentioned him. I think he's one of the most talented YouTubers and content creators out there. He's just hysterical. And I sent him some goose eggs too. He actually hatched out a gosling over the last couple of weeks that he has named Morgan in my honor. And yeah, it's pretty funny. So yeah, but I'm definitely a fan of Urban Rescue Ranch. Yes, Chris Kelly, I definitely want to continue to try to expand the farm. That's a biggie for me. I'm going to keep working on it. So funny thing about this, Rojo, if you watch tomorrow's video, you're going to see what's going on with Toby's house. And how do I put this? It's not Toby. Yeah, cats. I am most definitely a New England driver. It drives my wife crazy. When I was in college, I lived in Boston and I had a car. And I think that's really where I learned to be a hardcore driver, is driving around in Boston with a car. And you start to treat driving your automobile like you're going to war. And I've kind of always taken that style with me, especially when I was down south in DC, people would get freaked out by my driving. You always think DC drivers are crazy. They got nothing on us, sort of Boston bred drivers. Thank you, Aman. I really appreciate the super chat. Does Toby eat raw meat or kibbles with egg is good? I do both. So sometimes I'll give him some raw meat. Sometimes I'll give him kibble. Sometimes I'll give him eggs. Sometimes I give him a mix of it all. I try to vary it up. I'd love to be able to afford to do raw diet. I think once I get cattle, I'll actually have enough beef to be able to do it, in enough beef scrap too. So that's my long-term plan. But right now it's a mixture of things. Let's see. If you time traveled 3 years ago, what would I do different with the farm? That's a great question, Jackson. And actually, it's funny. So I moved up here full time to the farm 3 years ago, 2 weeks from now. So I'm almost at the 3-year anniversary. And if I had to do anything different, I think I would probably realized that the egg business was going to be something I was going to struggle with. And I probably would have focused on geese right from the get-go if I had to do anything different. Yeah, Allison, I'm a fan of Justin. I think you mean Justin Rhodes. Yeah, I actually, and I've told this story in videos before, but I remember being in Washington, D.C. and having gardens and really wanting to think about what do I do next. And I remember some of Justin's videos that motivated me thinking about starting a farm and actually starting to make videos about my farm. And so, yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Justin. Okay, this is a great time to transition. As Oof has said, what incubator do I use? I'm going to show you guys. So bear with me. I'm going to have to do the technology part of this. But what we are going to do is go on a little bit of a field trip. And to do that field trip, I'm going to need to log into my phone. Sorry, bear with me, guys. I wish I had some music to play here. All right, now this should work. We're going on a little field trip, you guys. And unfortunately, can't see the chat as it's going on right now. So my apologies, guys. Sorry, just walking through the house. The lights were off. Okay. Here we are. So this is my incubator. It's the Ova Easy 380 from Brinzy. And as you can see here, we got several eggs pipping. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but they're definitely squeaking and creaking. The eggs that are up here are only 2 weeks in, but these guys are all 29 days in, and so they should start hatching in the next 24 hours. I can definitely hear them. Yep, you can even see some pipping up top there too. Very exciting, isn't it? I'm going to set you guys down here. I'm going to head back to my office. So can you guys see this now? Pretty cool, huh? So yeah, this is the incubator view. Yeah, you can hear him, Baka, Nico. That's awesome. I'm back, Snowflake. So Pigeon Boy, I typically look for a combination of things, but like temperament and size are probably the two biggest, as well as coloring. If they never stop watching them while they're hatching. Yeah, you know, this is actually the cool thing about the new incubator is that it's like really easy to view inside. Like you can see, I mean, I didn't do the best camera shot, but you can see a lot of them. There's sort of the reflection from the light. All right, I'm screen capturing this one, Natalie. So no, there's no feud with White House on the Hill. Jake is a friend of mine. Jake and Becky are friends. Yeah, they're great people. I'm actually really excited to be hanging out with them again in October down in Virginia. But yeah, no feud whatsoever. I didn't even realize that, but that's kind of funny. I'm sorry, Natalia, you cracked me up for the night. What is my video ingest process media storage setup like? Any backup solutions in case the worst happens? So yeah, this is kind of a technical question, but let me get into it for you. So I basically will shoot all of my footage on SD cards like this. And then as soon as I'm done shooting, I copy it to an external hard drive and I edit from that external hard drive. And then like every once, every month or so, I will back up that external hard drive with a second external hard drive in case that external hard drive dies. And so that's pretty much how I do it. It's a little bit expensive to do it that way, but it's kind of the most fail-safe opportunity. Yes, Aaron, I do plan on adding some vegetation to the pond. That's one of the projects I'm sort of slowly working on and researching right now. Kathy, this is a good question. So I think modular would be hard to pull off well. Um, so I don't think modular, but what I have found is if anybody's out there thinking about chicken tractors, I would strongly encourage you to look into the John Siskovich stress-free chicken tractor. He wrote a book. It's got some very good descriptive plans. It's a very effective structure. It's very easy to move. It's I think it's the best. So if you wanted my chicken tractor advice, it would be, especially if you're starting out, go with the John Siskovich. It's a little bit more work to build, but once you got it, it's such a versatile structure too. I've used it for ducks, geese, chickens. You can use it for meat birds, egg layers. It's just awesome. Sorry, I petted Lil. I made that mistake, and now I'm like itching and scratching my face for this entire live stream. It's very rude. Well, thank you, being old. And good luck with your land in Wisconsin. That's very cool. I have thought about doing that, Alex. I've got too much going on right now, and so I haven't prioritized it. I found you can only prioritize so much stuff, to a certain extent. And so at this stage of the game, I haven't. But in the future, I hopefully will. I sometimes think about it, but like I don't think they do all that well on our farm. I don't think they're built for it. So no. Yeah, I've tried trapping. I've done a little bit of trapping. Some people talk about using terriers, but like terrier dogs like that, I think I've often heard of issues with chickens and ducks and attacking those animals. And so they're also more work. It's like you got to manage a dog. I find cats to be pretty easy to take care of. And so that's why I'm excited to be adding the 2 new barn cats later this year. Yes, Holly Adkins. I don't know if you noticed when I went into the hatching room, but there is actually a whatchamacallit, a GoPro setup right there, and it is in the process of like live streaming everything. What I do before moving to the farm was it similar to Stardew Valley? You know what? It was shockingly similar to Stardew Valley. It was an office job. I was doing marketing for an investment company. Well, I just wasn't happy with it, and so that's how I ended up here. So it's an intestinal intolerance, Charlie G. So like I get very nauseous, puke, diarrhea. Like I don't mean to be too graphic, but yeah. So it's definitely not like hives. It's like just like I got food poisoning. Oh, thank you. 111 Unleashed. Have I heard of Randall cattle? Yes. Randall lineback cattle. Oh, and you're in Queechee. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, Randall linebacks are actually something I've been thinking about. And it's funny. Queechee is actually where Bruce the Goose and his flock come from. Um, Well, Elijah, here's the thing to think about, especially, and I don't know how far off you are from doing this, but I think people oftentimes get fixated on like what breed is the perfect breed and the right breed. And sometimes you got to almost test it out and try it yourself. And so if I were you, what I would encourage you to do is try a couple things, like try a couple different breeds from the get go and see what you like best, and then add more of those. That would be my advice. My personal preference, like I started with going with khaki Campbells, and the khaki Campbells are good, but what I've really found is I like the Cayugas best, and so I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have the experience. I also know that I don't want to have Pekins, and so like that comes from working with them, and so I would encourage you to experiment early on and find what's best for you in your situation. Like here I am in Vermont saying Cayugas are great. You might find that Cayugas are horrible for Florida, so you got to think about it that way too. Thank you for the super chat, Anne Marie Smith. Do you ever worry about straps on the chicken saddles rubbing on the wings and holding moisture? I've actually watched for that and been very careful with that one. And, because I know some people said, oh, what about their glands and all that? And I haven't seen any issues whatsoever. And in fact, they seem like they're doing better. They're having less damage on their feathers. And so overall, I think it's just really good. So the saddles have worked out great. No, I have not bought any Dogecoin, and nor do I plan to. Hey, East BK. Hello, Brooklyn. Oh, Allison's watching me from the door over there. I don't know if she's going to want to come on. Oh boy. Yeah, so Allison had some friends over for their birthday, and so they just did a little porch birthday party, and I got a cupcake, so I'm excited. I'll have to eat that once I'm done with this. Yeah, the Randall cattle do look very cool. Yeah, I just saw that the stream was lagging. I'm sorry about that, game guy. It's a challenge of rural internet sometimes. I'm actually excited. I'm getting the Hey guys, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. Yes, and Jackson, I am absolutely getting Starlink as soon as it becomes available. I already put my deposit down for it. And yeah, sorry, didn't mean to do that, guys. Sorry. I'm having some internet trouble. We have a storm here. I think it might be doing something to my line, so I'm going to sign off.